Spurs fans, I said I would not talk about De'Aaron Fox's contract until after the playoffs. The playoffs are over, and his contract sucks. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. De'Aaron Fox, the biggest contract in San Antonio Spurs history. But is it really that bad? Does he have to go? Will it really wreck the Spurs? Let's get into his contract. This is De'Aaron's contract over the next 4 years. $50 million, $54 million, $58 million, $62 million. And I do think that is way too much. I don't think he's a max contract guy. It is what it is. That is the contract moving forward. And how's this going to affect the Spurs with the salary cap, the aprons, etc.? Let's just get into it. Let's take a look at next season where it's not an issue. We have a lot of rookie contracts for next season. We have Champagnie still on a small contract. The Spurs will be okay. The first apron is going to be $210 million in this season. And remember the first apron, because that's the number the Spurs want to stay under, and these 9 players make up $153 million. Now, I don't have David Jones-Garcia as part of this test we're doing with the salary cap apron, because I have no idea what he's going to make moving forward, but I think he probably will stay with the Spurs. And what we're going to do for 2027, 28, and 29, I'm going to kind of guesstimate what our players are going to be making those years, the guys that I think will be staying with the team, to get an idea, are we okay? Do we have room under the apron, or are we in a lot of trouble? For 2027, this is the first year of Wemby's rookie extension, and this is where I started having concerns when I saw Fox's contract. I'm like, we got Wemby coming up, Castle coming up, the second overall pick, which we didn't know was Harper at the time. I was like, how are we going to afford all these guys? So hopefully this makes sense when I break this down, why this is not attainable. In 2027-28, I'm going to assume Keldon Johnson staying with the team. We got Wemby signing for, it's going to be a huge contract. I'm just guessing $45 million. Julian Champagnie will have the first year of his extension. I presume Champagnie will be staying with the team. The apron for this year is $220 million. These 9 players make up $205 million, which means it's going to be really tight. Next season, not an issue. The following season, we're already going to have some issues. There's not a lot of wiggle room here for the Spurs to keep good players signed. We'll have the nucleus, but already you're seeing the issues with his contract in year number 2 of his contract. As we get into year number 3, this is where the wheels fall off. The first apron is $230 million. And just real quick, for people that aren't familiar with the apron, just know that if you go over the apron, there's massive tax implications, roster construction issues. You don't want to be over the first apron, especially as a small market team. I don't see the Spurs going over the first apron, so they're going to want to be under that. $230 million this year for the first apron. We look at the roster. Stephon Castle's extension is now kicked in as well. The apron I said was $230 million. I think it said $230 million. These 8 players, and not including Luke Kornet. I don't think Luke Kornet will get picked up this year. That's $240 million. This is where his contract becomes the biggest issue, Spurs fans. We have a $230 million apron, and just these 8 players, not including Luke, makes up $240. We still need 7 more players on the roster, plus 3 two-way guys. This is impossible. This is absolutely impossible in year number 3 to keep Fox, Wemby, and Castle, and a lot of it, Devin Vassell's contract's guaranteed, keeping Champagnie. And let's just, you take Johnson away. Take Keldon Johnson's $20 million away. Apron's $230. The contracts here are $220. So you have $10 million now for 8 more players, as now we're taking Keldon away. This is not doable. And as you take a look here in the final year of his contract, Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant are off their rookie contracts, and I'm guessing Dylan's going to make about $45 million. If Carter becomes the player we think he can, about $20 million, forget it. In the last season of Fox's contract, the apron is $240 million, and these 6 players make up about $247. You need 9 more players, and you're already over the first apron, go right into the second apron. This isn't happening. It'll never get to this point. It can't. It absolutely can't. So the fix for the Spurs moving forward, first off, they need to rehab De'Aaron Fox's trade value, because right now, I know he was injured in the playoffs. His trade value is just not very good. Get him back to the guy who was in the regular season, if not even a little better, maybe a little more like Sacramento Kings De'Aaron Fox, and then trade him by the All-Star break or after next season at the absolute latest. I do think, and based on the numbers I've shown you, that he has to be gone after next season. Also remember, Dylan Harper, from what we're hearing, not particularly happy with his minutes. I don't think he'll stay if he's not a starter sooner than later. Yes, he's under his rookie contract for 4 years, but he might be like, you don't want to burn the bridges with Dylan already. And sorry, Fox fans, I think he will need to go no matter. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And hopefully all this made sense. I know there was a lot of numbers here, but to just kind of keep it very simple as a summary, De'Aaron Fox's contract, plus all the other big contracts, Wemby, Castle, and Harper, when you add them all up together, that's going to take up so much of our salary cap. So much. And this has been a concern with Spurs fans and myself. It's a good concern to have, but we make the trade for De'Aaron Fox, which we were all mostly happy about, I would say. We didn't give up as much as we thought. Okay, good. We knew Wemby was going to get a huge extension. Castle is a 4th overall pick. He's going to get a big extension. Harper's a 2nd overall pick. And here's where the good and the bad comes in, with the good, the bad, and the ugly, if you will, of having high picks. They get expensive after their rookie contracts are up. After those 4-year contracts, especially if they're winning awards, see Wemby with Defensive Player of the Year, they can get very expensive, and they will. And moving forward, I always thought, okay, we can afford 3 kind of max contract type guys like the Thunder are doing with Chet Holmgren, SGA, and Jalen Williams. Our 3 guys that we're going to keep on this team are Wemby, Castle, and Harper. Fox's contract, if he stays the whole duration, the Spurs cannot move on from his contract. That means one of the 3 guys I just mentioned will not be able to stay here because the Spurs can't afford him. It'll be Wemby. It's not going to be Wemby. So it'll be Castle or Harper. So there you go. I'll put that to you, Spurs fans. You got to get rid of one. You're getting rid of De'Aaron Fox in a year or two? Well, after next season, do you want to see De'Aaron Fox gone, Stephon Castle, or Dylan Harper? And Dylan Harper, ironically, is a player that a lot of people were willing to trade last year for Giannis. And I got to think now Dylan Harper is off the table for any type of trade. All right, Spurs fans, that's all I got. Again, I hope this made sense. I really wanted to try to... I've talked about how I don't like his contract for a long time, because I kind of played out these scenarios looking at Basketball Reference with contracts and seeing what other number 1 picks made, like Paolo Banchero, or other 4th overall picks like Scotty Barnes. It's like, what are these guys making? So that's kind of when I based my salaries off a little bit here too. And I just saw the long-term implications and maybe overthinking it, but that's what I do. I'm also a math guy. Just looking forward, I'm like, okay, I'm looking at the Spurs as not a playoff team or finals team for a year. I'm thinking as a Spurs fan, we're building a dynasty. That's how I've always looked at getting Wemby, Castle, and Harper. We're building our next dynasty. How does it play out in the future? It doesn't with De'Aaron Fox's contract. So he's going to have to go after next season. Again, hopefully all that made sense. Let me know in the comments. Do you agree with what I'm talking about? Do you think, you know what, TSR, now that I kind of see you spell it out here with the numbers and the charts, I get why you want him gone. It's not necessarily him or his performance, although I do wish he performed better in the playoffs and the finals, and I wish he took a little more accountability and just, that smile there, that one that I put on the thumbnail, I hated seeing that after a turnover or a bad shot. Because sometimes you would do that. And I'm like, I just want to punch you in the face. Seriously, be a leader. You're a vet on the team. Be a leader. And I just didn't see the leader accountability or the passion really at times on the court. So that's one of the biggest reasons I want to see him gone. But the contract just doesn't work if we want to keep our big 3 together. That's all I got. Drop a comment. Hit the thumbs up if this made sense and you enjoyed the video. And hey, share it too if there are other folks who say, I don't get why TSR hates his contract, or other people do. Hopefully this broke it down into the problems it's going to have starting as early as year 3. All right, that's all I got. Like, comment, subscribe. As always, go Spurs, go!